And here we are in this round of 8, started on altitude. It's a PvZ. It's Dark looking very solid right now. It's Creator who, you know, took his opponent in the previous round to the cleaners, but again, that's expected. The question now, and I think the question a lot of people are looking at as we see Creator getting ready for the GSL next week, is what form is he in? And this game against Dark is going to be a really, really solid test. So for now, well, we're here. We're in game number 1, and Dark, he gets his hatch block. That's not that weird. That is pretty expected. We get, you know, natural down to the 3rd base. Okay, fine. That's where we go. But that's not what's interesting. In fact, we haven't really seen a ton of interesting things yet in this game. We're waiting. Because at this point, well, we don't know a lot. We don't know where this game is going to go. Dark is very much a player that loves his roach play. Dark is very much a player that loves early aggression, but can play the mid game, can play the late game. And I would be hard pressed to assign a style to Creator. All right. I would be hard pressed to say, yeah, you know, Creator is going to play hero style all the time, or hero is going to play Stargate all the time, or something like that. He is just a player that is good, that is solid, that plays decently well. You know, he had his run in GSL last year, and realistically, we should have had 2 GSL Protoss champions, 2 Protoss GSL champions last year, but unfortunately, Creator threw a couple weird games away against Rogue, and that's the mental of it, right? Because Creator is this, oh, he's such a good player. But the more important the game goes, and especially as we talk about offline environments, especially as we talk about offline environments, his mental just falls apart. And we saw that happen in that GSL finals. Rogue hit him with some tilting builds, some really odd builds that, you know, would never work again, but they successfully just sent Creator off the deep end, and instead of being what should have a 4-1 Protoss victory, it was a 2-4 Protoss loss. So Creator is on that level. He can be very good as the Lings find their way in. They don't kill a probe, but they force all the probes off the mineral line. And that's just small things, really small things here, but they do add up, especially in a game of this caliber. It's a full scout for Dark. He denied a little bit of mining, and now, well, in fairness, there's the full scout as well from Creator. He sees what's happening in the main base. He gets his eyes on the fact that there's actually no workers mining gas. He gets his eyes on spawning pool, researching speed. Fine, sure. But arguably, the full scout from Dark is just so much nicer. So much more impactful. So for now, the Adepts, they're going to sit on the map. They did not overcommit early, and that is an important thing. It's so easy to just commit your Adepts. You just say, yeah, okay, I'm going to lose them. Maybe I'm going to get a drone or 2, but you want to pair them up. You want to put 2 of them together, and as the Zerg starts to be more active, or actually as Hero likes to do, and I hope we're going to see it. It seems like we're not, though. Yeah, the Adepts went home. As Hero likes to do is you put the Adepts in you put the Adepts in the 3rd as the Oracle runs into the main. And that is a really powerful idea. Often Zergs don't have enough to defend at this timing to really make that worthwhile, and then they actually take damage in a way that you don't expect to see anyone really get. But I want to talk about what's happening here out of Creator. He goes Oracle, then he gets a Void Ray, and then he goes back into Oracle play. And you know, you do want double Oracles, right? That is important. That means you one-shot drones. That is kind of when the damage tends to happen. But getting this Void Ray is not common. Although it is actually, as I think about it, something that we do see Creator do, I think, more so than other Zergs, because, well, it shuts down vision. It means that Creator will knock down any Overlords on his side of the map. The problem is that this kind of breaks even. This becomes valuable and relevant if you get 2 Overlords. If you get 1, it's whatever. It's not super worthwhile, but you get 2, suddenly it's like, okay, it's paid for itself, it's denied vision, it's killed 200 minerals, it's great. That has not happened, so the Void Ray is just going to have to be defensive, and now Oracles are going to try to dive in. The Queens are there, though, and these Oracles, second time around, they're not going to get anything, and Dark's got a very quick +1. So +1 melee, about 1/3 of the way done here, layer getting added in. Still, though, very little gas. Now adding a second, now adding his 3rd. As that Roach Warren goes down, and he starts to move his way into the mid game. Starts to try to develop his tech a little bit more, because It's 535, and he's on 60 workers. Now, his economy is going like gangbusters. I do like this move, though, from the Void Ray. You got it. You might as well send it across. Maybe the Oracle's distracted enough, and you're going to get a base down. But he's not going to, even as with a commitment. And, well, Oracle on the backside, the Lings don't get much done. So, damage on the hatch, not a kill. I think this is the interesting thing, though, and I wasn't sure. That's why we're checking the units tab. We saw a third Oracle get added in, and that's actually really, really interesting. Normally, if you go for the Void Ray, you got a Phoenix in the middle, something like that, you will go and it's 2 Oracles. That's enough to establish map control. It's enough to get damage done, but the Void Ray is meant to sit at home and be defensive. The Void Ray is meant to maybe find value, but it is expensive to get that third Oracle on top of the Void Ray. It's a lot of gas. The creator, he graded for it. He committed to it. It unlocked his Void Ray on the map to not have to worry about Ling run bys nearly as much here. But I wonder what Crater was doing with that move out, because he moved out a little bit. He got scouted. He ran back. Was he planning on actually trying to hit with that, or is that just... I think it's more likely, actually, that this was going to be just kind of a, hey, Dark, build army units. But for now, finally, these Oracles are getting damaged on 6 drones hit the deck here. And Dark behind this. What a read from Crater. Dark is going... maybe he scouted it. I'm actually not sure. Did Crater scout this? Yeah, okay, he saw the Spire. Now, I was gonna say, man, Crater, what a read there. Just getting blind Phoenix out of this. But we will, of course, Phoenix are on, or Mutas are on the way. There's a Spire on the way. So Crater immediately going into Phoenix production, making sure he has that power, has that tool available to himself. Although I wonder here, is the Void Ray, I love this. The Void Ray Observer hit squad just knocking creep down. But there we go. So second Phoenix on the way. I was going to say, I wonder if Crater is kind of second guessing himself because the Spire was scouted. Therefore, Dark knows the Spire was scouted. Therefore, he's not going to build Mutas. But Dark is absolutely banking gas for Mutas. He's got 800 gas in the bank. The Spire is just about done. Hive on the way here as well. And let's see what he go. This could be for Corruptors to just kind of knock the air out. And yeah, okay, there we go. So going into Corruptors. And it's going to be for a quick Broodlord timing behind this, I think. This is interesting. This is kind of cool. It does shut. It shuts down. It shuts down a Warp Prism. It shuts down the Oracles all over the map. The Void Ray is technically, you know, Void Ray. I think Void Ray beats 2 Corruptors. But shuts down Phoenix, shuts down Oracles, shuts down Warp Prisms, and that in and of itself is pretty nice. Also, it's kind of a guaranteed Observer killer. If you have detection with it, so it's really rather nice for some kind of implicit reasons, even if not they're not like explicitly solid. But the creator has scouted this now, so he's got a couple Phoenix that are. He's actually got one. He canceled the second, so one Phoenix is really not useful. But now that we've kind of had this whole bait and switch, right? We've had the mid game, not a lot of interaction actually, very little development, very little interaction. But lots of mind games of players scouting each other back and forth and trying to figure out exactly what Crater's doing, what Dark is doing. So now that we've gotten through that mid game for the most part, Dark still seems like he wants to put one bit of pressure on. We're getting into the late game. 4 bases are up for Crater right now. He's actually got his 5th base on the way. He's got +1 air on the way, extra Stargates, Fleet Beacon. We're going solidly into that Skytoss army, and because Crater has literally lost 1 unit. He's lost 1 Zealot over the course of this game. He can afford it. He can afford it very easily. And I love these Adepts. These are Adepts from early on, especially the one that we talked about saving. All of Dark's army was on the map. That's 4 dead drones. And 4 dead drones, 5 dead drones at 9 minutes in. Is it the most impactful thing? No, but it forces Dark's army back. And there's a little bit of an economic hit. So it buys a little bit of time. Now the carriers are on the field. And, well, with this Broodlord timing attempt from Dark, I mean, it's just going to be late. Oracles turn on their beams, and that means these the Banelings can't really join the fray as well. So Dark is struggling to hit the timing as he would like. I think is the best way to saying that. Crater has done a very good job of scouting things out, of being greedy, but this is the first attempt. Storm is just massive. And the force fields as well. I mean, Dark doesn't lose a lot, in fairness, but he will go and he will force Dark. He will force Dark back, and that's really all that Crater needs right now. So 3 carriers are on the way. More Corruptors getting added in, but Dark is maxed out. He's going to have 8. That's really not all that great. And I love this save as well. Oh, what a storm as well. Saving Zealots with the Warp Prism is really nice. You let him take some damage, kill some Zealots back out, or kill some Lings back out. And the storm on the left side also finds 0 value. So +1 air attack, just about done. +1 shields on the way. We've got 3 carriers on the map, 3 more, again, in production. So Creator's going to have this maxed. Well, okay, he's going to lose the Void Ray, but at this point, Void Ray is less relevant. Certainly one of them less relevant. But at this point, we're starting to see Creator really build this army out. He's starting to build a really, really solid army. And this Broodlord Ling Bane timing, I mean, if Dark can prevent the army from getting on top of his Broodlords, they can win the fight on the ground, sure, fine. But there's very little, there's 2 Corruptors, there's Queens, there's so little anti-air here that these carriers, unless they get just dropped by a bunch of miles, which seems unlikely, this push does not seem like it's going to work out all that well. But the Queens are pushing, and the Broodlords are pushing, and let's see what happens. I mean, +2 air attack, halfway done, shield's not done yet. This is Dark's timing. And I mean, at the very least, it should zone. This is a decent storm actually to start here. And the Queens aren't on creep, so that's a problem in and of itself. The carriers, though, they do need to join. Actually, they're sitting back just a little bit. Storm, it kind of whiffs. That was not a good storm, but now the carriers are revealed and Dark backs up. He has to back up. This is very much not a fight that he would like. Now, if the ground gets ahead of the air, right, that is a timing that Dark absolutely can take advantage of. Or an opportunity, really, that Dark can take advantage of, because the ground army doesn't fight this super well. It's the carriers that do make the big difference. So now we're starting to see Corruptors get added in, but it's going to be 8 of them. There are 8 carriers on the map, and superior upgrades. Although I do love the aesthetic of active creep tumors underwater. It just kind of looks nice. But okay, second Spire on the way. Dark really understanding that this game has to go late now. That timing, that 10, 11 minute Broodlord timing, unfortunately, Creator just got to the late game faster. And now, +2 air attack done in 10 seconds here. This is Creator's timing. This is what he's been building for this entire game. This is where he wants to be. What has he got? He's got 10 carriers. They've all got +2. It's 9. This is not enough anti-air. The army on the ground is going to try to roll in, but storms are going to be more than enough. And by the way, as this carrier count gets stabilized at, I think, 11 total carriers, we have more Stargates on the way. Void Rays build very quickly, and it's going to be a recall, but that's a dead carrier. Void Rays build very quickly. If this big air fight happens and just the Corruptors win, we're going to see Corrupt or Void Rays pumped out very quickly. They have Flux Veins now. They got +2, and they will shred everything. So Dark has to be very, very, very cognizant of winning this fight and the next fight. But Creator's playing carefully. He doesn't want to give his army away. His bank is not. His bank's very solid. His bank is really good. But I guess he doesn't want to throw himself into a position just yet, so we're going to sit back again. We're going to get into +2 shields. We're going to get a +1 air armor. I'd love to. There we go. Second Cybercore, so +3 air attack is going to be on the docket fairly soon. But the more time you give Dark, the more openings there will be, and these Banelings are just going to come rolling on in. Now, they're not going to get any workers, but they knock down a lot of stag defense. These Archons are going to look for some juicy shots here, but I don't know that Creator wanted to give Archons away. I mean, against Broodlords, fine, they're not great, but against the Corruptors, they're so solid. Anyways, air armor, 1 done. Shields halfway done. Here's the fight commences, and bam, big storm. So Creator's gonna have to. I mean, Dark's gonna have to be forced to back out once again. But we're starting to hit that point. We're really starting to hit that point as the Protoss player, where the Zerg Sky Armada is becoming a true force to be reckoned with. 2-1 is done, or 2-1 is just about to be done. +3 air attack on the way. We're looking at 22 Corruptors now, more getting added in. This timing where there was just not enough anti-air is kind of gone. Ooh, but I like this with the Oracles. I mean, they don't benefit from upgrades, but they will just jump on top of the Queens, and one will fall. Second one goes down, and This should be, no, it's not going to get the third, unfortunately, but it gets 2 queens, and that's something. Forces energy out, and I would say, hey, it's nice to freeze up supply, but you want those oracles. You really want those oracles. Big storm there, and yeah, Dark's got to back up. You really want those oracles. It gives you revelation. It tells you where the corruptor fleet is, and that is oh so important. So losing the oracles like that is not great, but hey, now that position on the right side is open. Now there are no queens to repair this single spore, to transfuse this single spore. These DTs will kill this base. These are +2 DTs. They do a lot of damage. So Dark now constrained back to 4 bases once again. And those biles actually will kill the recalled Archon, but even still, this air army 3-1-2 or 2-1-2, soon to be 3-2-3, is kind of terrifying. And the spellcaster for it's 1 Viper in the spellcaster army for Dark right now. He does not have what he needs, so he's just doing a really good job of buying time, and more importantly, Creator, I don't think he's being aggressive enough. I really and truly do think that Creator had a couple times this game where he just had far more than his opponent, and Dark was never really going to be able to contest. But Creator didn't take advantage. Even still, though, this pressure happens now. The biles will force him back for a moment, but it's not going to be enough. Not really. So, all right. I continue to be impressed with Creator's patience, I guess, with his lack of desire to push. And I understand, it is terrifying to fight into a Zergon creep, especially with an army as slow and immobile as this one, but I do feel that that's what you have to do. Like, you make this, you don't push like this and you just let the Zerg continue to grow. They're going to get all their corruptor or ultras are now going to get added in to really put the kibosh on your ground army. +3 air attack is done, +2 air armor's done. Like, the Zerg will grow. The Zerg will build these fortified positions that it is very hard for the Protoss to fight into. Possible, sure, but not easy. So what is Creator like? The question now we ask ourselves, are we truly in Fortress Protoss territory where Creator's only goal in this game is just sustain, survive, weather the storm of the Zerg, and like slowly take the map? Does he have a single pushing opportunity left? I mean, I feel like he does, but he clearly feels like he doesn't. Oh no. All right, we're good. The main PC this is actually really funny. So the main PC that we had here that we were watching this on, because I have 2 computers in this game right now. The main one decided, oh, hey, we're gonna hit a massive ping spike to Korea. My second PC, through the same router, they're both lined in connections, didn't have an issue. So there was something, I don't know. But this Broodlord pressure is scary now, because we talked about this Dark getting this full complement. But yeah, I really do feel. There we go. That's good. I really do feel like we Creator kind of missed his window for the most part, and now we got the Loco maneuver, whatever you want to call it, just diving on top. Carriers will fall, and that's not great. But actually, as we look at this Dark, you know, Creator maintains a good majority of his supply. That fight, I mean, I think we're gonna take a look at the. Hopefully, we're gonna be able to take a look at the battle report in a second. I don't know if this game has it, but that actually was Dark overcommitting a little bit. Now he spent his bait. 8 ultras, 3 infestors are on the way, and this powerful Skytoss army does not want to give Dark any time whatsoever. In fact, he's gonna give no time at all. Absolutely nothing. Creator, he punches through, and game 1 goes the way of the Korean Protoss, just like that. As of course, the transition overlay is going to be off because we didn't register that the game was won or lost on this PC, which is the unfortunate thing. But regardless, now we're in to game number 2. Dark, it felt like Creator had really lost his timing, but then Dark attacked in. Dark lost everything, and did not have what it took to be able to win that fight afterwards. So now we're looking at a game where Creator is sitting up 1, and this is gonna be interesting, right? Because, well, we saw what happened. Oh, I hit it too early. Both things ran at the same time. Not bad. This is going to be interesting because we saw what happened. That was a very uninteractive game. I think through 10 minutes, Creator had lost 1 unit. He lost a zealot. That's what it was. He lost a single zealot through 10 minutes because he was pressuring with oracles a little bit, and that was it. And what that means is that now as kind of we go forward, okay, well, game 1 was pretty uninteractive. We're on Ancient Cistern. Are we going to see something where it's just you macro for 20 minutes and then the game ends in 1 fight? I hope not. That's not that fun. Like, it's cool. It's an interesting idea. Sometimes we see it and we can enjoy it, but I don't want to see that every game in a series. I mean, obviously, Creator, do what you got to do. Like, play the game you got to play to win the series. But, yeah. So it's going to be a Stargate opener from a Creator once again, but that's not weird, right? That's not surprising at all. Oh. Apparently Cats took a map off Max Packs. I want that replay so badly, actually. You don't even know. Oh, man. Cats taking a map off Max Packs? Ooh. That had to have been... So... For those of you that are unaware, there used to be this North Americans, like the NA Zerg or the Western Zerg Skype group, and I think actually at the time it was the NA Zerg Skype group plus Solar and Soup. And this was back in the days when we had more North American Zergs than just Scarlet. Like you had Suppy and you had Kane and you had Scarlet and you had all these a couple other names that you had Cats, but specifically, Cats was always known. He was kind of like an American TLO or a obviously not, well, a North American, an America's TLO or an America's blind. He's got all these funky builds that, he was a solid pro for his time, but never totally winning tournaments. But the thing is, he would work with, he would specifically, there were a couple games where he would give Stu a build and Stu would win a GSL series with it or win a big series with it. And it's like, okay, here we go. So Cats has always had this penchant for really understanding StarCraft at a deep level, thinking about it a little differently, and having some really interesting builds, having some really fun builds. So, from that perspective, I want that replay. I want that replay real bad. But for now, it's shaping up to be more of a hero style. Creator has second Oracle, third one's on the way. Getting that third base at a really nice timing. Yeah, at like that 330, 345-ish. But the trick is, we don't have a Twilight down yet. Third Oracle's done, though, and there's enough gas for Creator to plop down that tech building, but he's not doing it yet. And honestly, the Oracle hasn't found all that much either. But there we go. Okay, there we go. There's the Twilight. There's the Forge. So this is not going to be your quickest possible blink, but instead it's going to time out with +1 a little bit nicer. Kind of that's going to be the goal. So we're looking at like 7 minutes. The other thing though, and actually as I look at this, it's 4 gas, probably not. This also, okay, again with the Forge timing as it is, this could be a +1 charge timing. I don't think it's likely because we would see, well actually, oh no, the Templar Archives would come down after this, so maybe not. Regardless, there's the Robo, there's +1, there's charge. Okay, so that's what it's gonna be. Let's see what happens here. We should see, that means we should see the Templar Archives go down right around the time that the Robo finishes, because you obviously don't need the Templar Archives any sooner than that. There we go. Okay, so Robo now, or Templar Archives done. Robo on the way. We're gonna see a Warp Prism. Yeah, Petraeus, of course, was another one of the NA Zerg Skype group. Although Petraeus was from, Australia. So, was he from New Zealand? I think maybe Fenner was another one. When we had these non-European, non-Korean Zergs. But anyway, Lings are now going to surround everything. These are dead sentries, dead adepts, and now they're going to try to find their way into the third, where the oracles will, of course, deal with them properly. But this slows things down a little bit, and I do not like this from Dark at all. This is so good for Creator. So Creator is going to add a bunch of Archons. He's going to have 2 Archons, probably. He's going to have this 7-gate Zealot idea. All right, 5 gateways are done. 8 gate Zealot, excuse me. So 5 gateways are done, 3 more are on the way. And this is an attempted hold with Hydraling Bane. Now, Hydraling Bane is good at a lot of things, and especially if you get the Banelings out, especially if you have Baneling speed, which, by the way, Dark doesn't. You can deal with a lot. Zealots do not like Banelings. But Hydras do not like Archons. Hydras do not like Zealots if you can get on top of them. So this pressure that's coming out from Creator could be absolutely deadly. Oracles are here. We're waiting for a warp in. And in fact, Creator does not want to spend those warp ins. He doesn't want to gamble. He doesn't want to gamble on the opportunity of actually going and running across the map when he's got his 4th base on the way. He's got everything else available. And instead, so he's going to back up a little bit. And he's going to buy more time. And I can't blame him. Gambling like that even with 8 gate, he was down army supply going into the fight. If Banelings hit well, I mean, you're kind of sunk. But Dark is building 10 Overlords. Like, Dark was very supply blocked. I have very little doubt that if Creator had hit when he was looking at it and microed appropriately, I have very little doubt that Creator would have been able to break right on through. I think that was a really, really powerful timing that Creator had access to. But regardless, the game moves on. And we're going to go and we're going to see what he's going to next go for. We don't have Storm. That's the surprising thing. This Warp Prism is not going to take much damage, but also not going to get much damage either. Instead, Creator's AoE of choice is going to be Disruptors. And that's going to be interesting. So on the one hand, I don't like that. I really would prefer Storm, I think. Disruptors are great against Roaches, absolutely. Roaches and Ravagers don't split well. They don't split at all, really, off creep against Disruptors. But Hydras with speed, especially with the buffs that they've gotten recently, they absolutely do. So Hydras now are starting to wear this wall down. A couple gateways will fall, which means it's only going to be 6 gateways, 5 gateways of production. I don't like the situation for Creator. He had this powerful timing, and it was pretty solid. But now, I mean, it's just rough here. Banelings, they run in. They don't get economy, but they do shut down static defense. A gateway will fall. So, well, tech is dead. Production is dead. But Creator is going next level. Dark, by the way, does not have an infestation pit. I didn't think I saw that on production. No infestation pit, no hive, nothing like that. He's staying on this mid game, and getting a couple Colossus is a really solid idea against this heavy amount of light units. As Disruptors, they do a decent job on the Lings, but you have to buy time, Creator. And in fairness, he's doing a somewhat okay job. Something just... Oh, the Warp Prism ran too far forward. That's unfortunate. You actually really want that. But now the Colossus are starting to come out. Do we have extended thermal lance? We don't. That's kind of the next thing that Creator's looking for right now. But he's got Charge, Archons, Disruptors, and Colossus. It's a lot of splash. Charge lots are really not that great against this army anymore. And the Banelings are just going to run right on top. Disruptors are beautiful, though. And that really is going to make a difference. Yeah, probes at this third base will continue to fall. That's not great. But, I mean, we look at the army trade there, and it was very, very solid for Creator. And if he can run across the map, maybe he's got a shot. But 17 workers go down. He's lost the wall. This is rough. His economy's really in a poor spot. But the problem is, of course, he lost the Warp Prism. He ran it over the Hydras. I don't know if he meant to scout or not or what, but he lost the Warp Prism. And that means he cannot run across the map. Ancient Cistern is a big map. It's massive. So yeah, he had a great hold. He put himself in a solid spot. but there's no counterattack potential. He's just gonna have to build structures, probe up again, and hope to rely on the next one. Now the hive's halfway done. Now lurkers are getting added in, and once you get ranged lurkers against Colossus, I mean, oof. This army from Creator is very powerful right now. Like, it's 10 Archons, it's 2 Colossus, it's a couple Disruptors. This is very powerful right now. But once lurkers hit the field, once Vipers hit the field, it disappears. It becomes the typewriter. It is just so out of date. Is hey, nice pull there. Probes will not fall. Only 4 for 4. So solid job there. But this army becomes dial up. As soon as pretty much like 2 minutes after the hive is done, this army is dial up, and that is not what you want to be doing, because Creator is actually, he's not. Never mind. I was gonna say he's still committing to the style, but 2 additional Stargates on the way, Fleet Beacon on the way. I don't know that he has the time for it though. Lurkers are already getting made. Lurkers, yeah, Dark's even committing to it. He's getting lurker speed first. So last game, Creator had all the room in the world because Dark kind of stayed on the mid game for a little bit, and Creator just leapfrogged him into the late game. This time, Dark's got he's got this maxed out army, and he's going to want to use it. We will see this lurker timing when lurker speed is done. That being said, you look at the army value here, and there is not a lot of gas in this army. This army has 60 supply of lings. That is a lot of lings, and that when half your army supply is pure Zerglings, that is not a tech heavy army. That is not all that great for you. And Dark realistically doesn't have a ton of gas in the bank either. He's getting lurker burrow speed. He's getting adrenal. He's getting overlord speed. He's getting +2. He's getting +3 for his Zerglings. He's invested a lot in the future, which means that the Baneley count is not going to be incredible. So if Creator can go and kind of break the Hydra backline of this one, so even just do it well enough, the carriers, as they're starting to pop out, are giving him a more than a puncher's chance in this game, because they're starting to come out now. And I mean, Skytoss versus lurkers are just, that's where you want to be. And because, oh, this is a problem. Probes are going to get pulled in time, and it's just going to be tech for tech, or stack defense going down. That's fine. Because this was lurker speed first, lurker range second, we have 3 carriers out on the map already. +1 is not done just yet, but it's going to be done soon enough. Disruptors to go. Oh, Dark's not paying attention. That's going to be 3. Oh, that's so nice there. But now on the right side, this is where a little bit more pressure finds its way in, but still workers are not falling. Archon's holding the line. Shield battery overcharge as well. Yes, Immortals will fall, but they're not super relevant right now. This is a great hold from Creator on the right side. In fact, Dark's the one that starts to fall behind in supply a little bit. And here's what does he build? He's not building lurkers. He's not building more Hydras. He's not even building Vipers. He's building 90 lings. He thinks he's got a shot just on the mass reflood, but there are 6 carriers on the map. This is not a good situation for Dark whatsoever. Now, this is nice, but these lurkers will fall. They are not going to find value at all here. It's all on the link front on the right side. It's just going to be a full recall. Total recall on the right side. Archon's in a bit of an awkward spot, but you just add the carriers in on top, and these Hydras are not powerful enough at all. So Dark, just every opportunity, every single thing that he has tried to do in this game in the last 5 minutes, it's done. Yes, Creator will lose the 5th base. That's awkward. That sucks. But Creator is going to be very happy to max out on 4 bases, on +1 air, on shields, on everything else. These Archons will just, the Lings will not find the value that they want. And not on the left, not on the right side either. There is so much anti-splat or anti-light. There's just so much anti-light at this point that, although that being said, Creator needs more pylons. He got losing that 5th base. He put him and all the pylons there. It took him pretty heavily supply block. So he can't build units for a minute. That's a bit unfortunate. As Lings are going to look to get on top of these Archons, kiting backwards into the shield battery overcharge. Now lurkers burrow on top of them, and that's where life starts to get pretty scary here. But the Archons can run away from that for the time being, and it's gotta. This is not an army that can fight. If Creator brings his entire army together, Dark will lose this. So Dark has to he identifies it, but he has to run away. But Creator is maxed out functionally. He feels in a very, very solid position right now. He's sitting on 7 carriers. He's got +1, +2 in the tank, but not there yet. And this kind of stacked defense line is not incredible. It's a bunch of, I mean, yeah, sure, Vipers are nice, and they're going to abduct the mothership, but there's not enough damage. It's going to have to be almost all the energy on the Vipers to abduct that mothership. It will go down, sure, but that's a lot of Viper energy force, and that means these carriers are not going to be near... Okay, Colossus gets abducted, but it's going to stay alive. That's 3 abducts now for 1 kill. Carrier. Now, this one should... It's not even going to go down. This is so much energy that has now been spent. Dark's maxed out, sure, fine, but... Hydras as your anti-air against this army are just not solid. Now, the one thing that we do have Creator missing, and that is... it might force him to turn around. He does not have Storm. He does not have that really solid splash that can just kind of sit there and do damage. So now Dark, realizing the Creator is backed up a little bit, given up position, his entire army's on the right side. He's forcing a base trade, or at least an exchange of bases, and this is... Creator cannot recall on top of this. The Lurkers are sieged up as they are. Hydra's behind. This is a dead base, and it is likely more. So this was the one move that Dark could make. This was the only thing that he could do, and it's going to work out, but +2 is done. He's not going to be able to cancel that. And there is some defense. The carriers are coming out of the main base here, and remember, Creator has the ability to recall, and we've seen it happen before. We saw it happen at Katowice. Creator is not going to let this happen again. He lost Game 5 in the round of 12 against Dark because he did not recall in time. You know that is going to be front of mind right now. You know that he is not going to let that happen again. So he's going to find his way in, killing bases, killing tech. Probes already on the other side of the map. So at the very least, he can build more. Now, the one thing that he's dealing with right now is that his supply is pretty deficient. He's down 20 army supply. He's down workers. But a lot of the supply is going to equalize as it's lings in production, right? That was half the army supply deficit gone right there. The one thing the Creator does have to make sure he does, though, there is a lot of static... actually, was that... Never mind, it was all canceled. I guess Dark feels like he needs the money. No, the Archons just find it in time. So all that static defense, all that attempt to keep things alive, that's all going to get knocked down, and Creator is just killing things faster. Yes, the main base is going to fall. Actually, wait a minute here. Where are the structures on the map? The probes are following. There are not a lot of structures remaining here. This is starting to become a little bit awkward. Good abduct there on 3 carriers as well. Colossus on the high guard is not firing well enough. This is a terrifying army from Creator, but it has to fight together. It doesn't have the ability to sit on the map as well. And there are 2 pylons. There are 2 gateways on the map right here. Creator, you got to build something. You got to build it right now. The pylons are just in the main. This Creator, 1 pylon. Creator, you got to build something, my dude. You can't end like this. And he drops a Nexus. It's not a good mining position, but he drops a Nexus. He's going to have to turtle on that, but now that makes it so hard for him to do the base trade. Dark has the map. Dark has the entirety of the map right now. Couple Stalkers, couple Archons are trying to find their way into the natural. That's okay. That's something. But if you're Dark right now, don't you just dive on top of this base? You know that this is the only thing that exists. You know I don't know that he necessarily knows where it is. I mean, he knows where it is. Yeah, if you're Dark, don't you just drop a blinding cloud and dive on top of it? I don't know that Creator can just survive this many Hydras just clicking on a Nexus down. I don't know that that's possible. But Creator is doing a good job getting on top of the tech. Creator's backing. He's giving up position a little bit. This is... Yeah, Dark's just going to go for it. The Nexus is exposed anyways. Damage before anything. Two carriers get abducted immediately. There's no way this works. Yeah, Disruptors go down as well. Dark wins this game. Okay. We're going to game 3. And as we look at this, it's one final game. Realistically, Creator was in a magnificent spot, but Dark identified the base trade, figured out what he had to do, and he made it work fantastically well. So now we look at this, and I don't know exactly what to think. Creator looks solid. We're on a big map. It's on honestly the best map in the pool. So without further ado, let's just talk about it. Let's see what's happening. That's what's important. And for now, really nothing of particular interest, of particular note. It's, you know, it's a Gressfon opening. That's how this goes. This is the best map. This is absolutely the best map of the pool, bar none. But there's also early game PvZ, and we're not going to see 9 times out of 10 a ton. Last week, we saw Creator try to do a bunch of cheese against Clem. I don't think we're going to see that here. And in general, I mean, for the most part, I mean, cheese against the Zerg is solid, but I don't know. I'm not quite feeling it. So, anyways, for now, the game's going as it's going. We should see a Stargate go down as the once we get 150 gas and the cyber is complete, and then from there, well, we just figure it out. We figure out exactly what Creator wants to do. He went triple Oracle last game. He went triple Oracle with a Void Ray in the middle the game before. It's been games about Sky Toss. Really, it has not been really too mid-game focused at all, which is not going to be my favorite type of StarCraft, but I'm not complaining. We had some fun stuff. We absolutely had some fun interactions, some interesting games. But this time is going to be something very different. After 2 long games, one creator won, one creator lost. He is changing the way he wants to play. We're not going to see a Stargate go down. In fact, we saw Warp Gate get started up pretty much immediately, so Dark should understand that this is not a Stargate opener. Or at the very least, if it is, it's Warp Gate into Stargate, which is Trap did that a lot, but that's not really a thing we see all that much. So, Robo going down, Twilight going down, this feels like there we go, Glaive is on the way. This is a Glaive Adept timing coming out of Creator. The question, though, is how committed is the Glaive Adept idea, right? Is it 4-gate Glaives, is very standard, right? That was dominated Katowice 2020, and we see it, a ton ever since. Or is it something more? Is it the Glaive into DT idea that we see sometimes? Well, there we go. Okay, Glaives into DTs. This is going to be an interesting one, right? Because for a while, it was absolutely the play. You're like, okay, well, Glaive play, drop a spore at every base anyways, because that is a follow-up that is very common. And then the Zergs would not take too much damage to it. It was fine. But we've started to see over the last year or two, Zergs absolutely cut corners on this. And for right now, there's a single spore on the map. It is in Dark's main. It is the kind of the safety against the Oracle dive in when there's only one queen there. Now there's a second spore on the way, though. So on the timing, Dark's like, okay, stuff on the map. This is something I have to be aware of. Of course, it is a later spore than you would get against against a bunch of Oracles, because it is something where he knows Oracles are not going to be a thing. So now the second question is can Creator get away with accidentally killing the spore? I say accidentally killing the spore because my DTs are sitting in the mineral line. Oh, they clicked it enough they got enough damage on the spore where DTs run in, they kill it. Something like that. But Dark's actually doing something very interesting here where instead of attempting to hold in a traditional way, he is just going for a counterattack. And this is forcing Creator to re-wall. He doesn't have warp pins. He doesn't want to spend these warp pins. But now, shading into the right side, bunch of Lings. But yeah, shade on top of that one. Absolutely, Creator's going to take advantage of this. But the Lings on the other side are causing problems. Gateways are starting to fall. And now the Biles, they actually don't get that many Adepts, but the Lings clean up the rest. And this move from Dark is brilliant. Now he's into the mineral line. It's got a 2-gate DT. Is that how you win this game, Dark? Creator? I don't think so. This is a brilliant play. And yeah, there are DTs. Absolutely, that's a problem. In fact, there was no spore in the main. It was brought. Was it killed? It was killed. So the main base falls, and suddenly this is a lot better. Defensive DTs can do a lot. Never mind. This spore's dead too. The queens are not on creep for this. Biles are going to try to get it, but it's not going to matter. Gets 1 DT, but the second spore is dead. We have 3 on the map right now. Queen's not quite out of range of the spore, and Lings now continue to rally across the map. Dark kind of understanding that he needs to stabilize. He's got a layer halfway done, 30 drones mining out of it, and he's running out of this. He kind of feels like he's okay. What a weird game. Some more pylons will fall. Creator's massively oversupplied. That's fine. Creator needs to rebuild the Roach Spore, and he needs to rebuild... Oh. Okay, War Prism. It's going to be actively controlled now. Dark needs to rebuild his spawning pool. Yeah. Luckily, there are enough spores right now where it should be fine, but Dark needs the ability to actually build lings, and more importantly, to build spores, to build queens, to build these defensive tools that he is oh so sorely lacking. So for now, Zealots have warped in. There's an Immortal here, Archon as well. These lings will not find, they won't find a ton of value anymore, but you add in the Ravagers. This will be interesting here. The wall is attempting to get reestablished, but Dark has a decent kind of pre-concave setup, so the Ravagers get added in. And for now, these gateways will die. The Biles are going to be enough to force that cancel, and there's the full recall. So the entire complement of Creator's army now back at home. 2 Archons, an Immortal, Zealots, Errata. But now we move in. Now we move forward. Because Dark is going effectively 2-base Spire. I mean, that's not what that is not how this game was intended to go, but that's where we're going anyway. So 2-base Spire is on the way. Spawning pool just about done. And now Dark double expands as well. Double Spire against a bunch of Archons is interesting because on the one hand, yeah, Archons not super mobile. And if the Warp Prism goes down, they are either dead or they're immobile and they force a recall. It's not great. But on the flip side, Archons do so much damage to mutas that if you can ferry them around, you can chase the mutas down. You can kind of zone them out. You can make it very hard for the mutas to find damage. I wonder how much of this was Dark just not having the ability to build anything else. So he built up a gas bank, or kind of was on 2-base 4 gas. That being said, Queen assassinated. That's going to be very nice. Lings on the left side should be able to cancel this third if they're going to. Never mind. No, they're not. That was I thought that was only a couple units, but no, that is a lot. That is a significant number of units on that third base. So Creator is building his way back into this game, and man, what a weird game this is. Like it started standard, yeah, absolutely. Glaive it. Oh, that's a dead Archon. Very nice catch there, Dark. Oh, it started standard. Glaive Adepts into a hold of into Ling Ravager, which is not the most common hold, but it's it's good enough. And they're going to find an Immortal as well. No, they're not. Never mind. Back it up. Defensive DT is too powerful. But then it was a counterattack. And then it was a dead main base that I thought Dark was going to be able to hold, but he lost his Spore. And now we're into 2-base Muta into a double expand. It's a weird game. It is such a cool game, though. And now the Mutas find their way into the main. There are shield batteries here, and they're doing something. But the Archons are on the other side of the map. That's the big issue. There are 3 on the map, 2 on the other side. Starks have to get warped in defensively, but they don't have Blink. So 9 probes go down. The workers in the third base have to get pulled away. This is such massive damage. And it's one of those things where you can talk about it. It's like, yeah, Archons are great against mutas, but they have to be in the right position all the time. And that's so hard to do. So here's the all-in coming in from Creator. His army is solid, but it's just down in army supplies. So the surround comes in. Biles are not going to land yet. And Creator with a solid split here. Guardian Shield popped as well. Tries to find his way in. Muta's on the backside. They get the Warp Prism. So there's no saving this. There's no reinforcements anymore. Creator has to do it with this army and this army alone. And Dark has 4 bases of reinforcements. He's got 48 drones to reinforce off of. Is it the best army? Is it the best economy? No. But it's up 40 army supply. And I think that is going to have to do it here. The Mutas can't fight, but I don't really know how much it matters. More Ravagers are on the way. More Roaches are on the way. Eventually, there we go. And here comes the Lings. The Mutas are going to fly. As soon as these Archons take enough damage, the Mutas join in on top. At the very least, they pop Hardened Shield. So Immortals are strictly mortal now. They're going to fall down. Dark wins the game. He moves on to face beyond.